Mauricio.
Hello. Oh, sorry. I'm on something. Hello, hello,
Hello.
hello, 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 hello.
I'm busy.
Daliso
I'm inside
Chaponda
cafe with
here.
one guest.
Daliso Chaponda here.
Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I am streaming. Hello, hello, hello. Daliso Chaponda here. I am going to be starting a show in 7 minutes. I'm going to be starting a Zoom show in 7 minutes. You can join the Zoom. You can join the Zoom if you just go to the Facebook link. If you just go to the Facebook link and buy a ticket. It's a free ticket, so it's just a ticket you have to buy because it's to prevent mischief makers. So the show is going to start momentarily. So I will see you all very soon. See you all very soon. See you imminently, so to speak. Imminently, imminently, imminently. So we so far have one person in the front row. One person in the front row. Hello. Hopefully, more people will join the front row. As you see, there's now one person in the front row. Hopefully, more people join the front row. So, if you want to fully enjoy the show, um, oh, on YouTube. Okay, you're on YouTube, Abra Farhim. What you need to do if you want to join the show and be in the Zoom is you need to go to either Facebook or Twitter. Facebook or Twitter, and you need to just click the link which has Daliso Chaponda buy tickets for the show. It's a free ticket, so you just click on it, and you by clicking on it, you will get an invite to enter the Zoom. So we're going to start in 5 minutes. We're going to start 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yes.
It's increasing. It's increasing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Have a nice evening. Take care. Bye.
Super. See you in a moment. I'm currently in a hotel room, and so that was someone fixing an issue. But now we are here. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome to the show. We've got another member of the Zoom audience. Hello, hello, Samantha. You're very welcome to the Zoom audience. You will join if your parents allow, Abrar. You don't need to join the Zoom audience. If you just watch it, you can just watch it as a stream. The way it works is I always get like 5 or 6, maybe even like 10 people as a live audience for laughter, and then the rest of you can just watch it from wherever you are. So it is entirely fine. You can you can watch Abrar without joining. No problem at all. Hello, hello, hello. Mm. Good, good. Nyasha William Guazemba wants to challenge me. I don't know how you would challenge me. So just so you know what's going to be going on in 4 minutes. Okay, in 4 minutes, what I am going to do is I am going to start doing a testing out jokes. So I'm going to talk about a bunch of things which have happened in the news, such as Meghan and Harry's interview with Oprah, such as Switzerland deciding to ban face covering. That's going to start at 8 p.m. That's going to start at 8 p.m. So this is just the lead up where I'm trying to encourage a few more of you to join and be part of the front row. If you are part of the front row, all that means is like you see, all that means that you become part of the show, right? Like you become part of the show. I have a few people who are part of the show with me. I tell them jokes, they laugh. Hello, Samantha. How are you doing, Samantha? You're very welcome. But it's like if you are not comfortable, I can turn off the camera. But like because you are part of this Zoom where I'll be testing shows, but people are also watching on my Facebook page. So if you prefer to remain anonymous because you've committed a crime or something, just put off the camera. No problem. We will be starting in 3 minutes. Very good to have you here. Very good to have you here. Very good to have you in the house. Oh, people who are on watching from Facebook say hello, Samantha. Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael. What about hello, me? Okay, they say hello to me too. No, Abra, it's fine. Your parents won't allow a Zoom. I fully understand. I did not know your age, but you can watch from YouTube. Watch from where you are. Watch from YouTube. I don't think that this is a very filthy one. So I think there's nothing you will hear that your parents will be upset that you hear. 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes. Anybody who wants to join the Zoom, you will find the Zoom link on my Facebook or on my Twitter. Just go to Daliso Chaponda. And it's not an open one because we previously had some nefarious hackers join. So now there's a system where you've got to go get a ticket. The tickets are free, but you get a ticket, which hopefully dissuades mischief, and then I have to admit you and make sure you're a real person, because I think Michael was here for when I started a show and squirrels took over, dancing squirrels. Yes, dancing squirrels took over the screen. Thankfully, I just had trolls, because there are actually a lot more criminal things that can happen when people take over. I just thankfully just had a prankster. So I am Daliso Edgar Kapisa Bayani, because I was born in Zambia, even though I'm Malawian, and even though the languages are very close, in Zambia it's spelt without a T, in Malawi it's spelt with a T. So that is why on my birth certificate, my parents chose the Zambian way, because that is where they were. Okay, 1 minute. And we're going to start testing some jokes. 1 minute. Very good to have you all here. So I have a live audience currently of 2, which is 3 of 3. You're just going to have to be loud, because there are 63 people watching on Facebook who do not want to be seen. I assume they're all criminals. You're all criminals. So we will just go with these ones. Could you do me a favor, Michael and Samantha, and this fellow who is with Samantha? Could you turn on your microphones, as you are the sound of laughter. You are the sound of laughter who's going to create atmosphere. Anybody else who wants to join, you are entirely welcome to join. Just underneath where you're watching me on Facebook, you will see there's a little image of me by a microphone with a table, and you can get a ticket via there. But if not, you're entirely welcome to watch it as you are watching it. So let's get started. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me thank you. Thank you for the applause. Applause. Yes, applause. Give us some love. Thank you so much, Samantha. And who is the fellow with Samantha?
Christian.
Hello, Christian. Now, Christian, are you watching by choice, or have you been dragged into this?
Oh, no, we came to see you in Blackheath.
Oh, you both came to see me in Blackheath. Well, now you're seeing me in the comfort of your own home. I'm getting more and more used to this, that I come and I watch people wherever in the world they may be. Thank you for actually wearing clothes, because sometimes people just turn you on in their, their pajamas, like gowns, eating, and so on and so forth. You are here for a new material gig. All of you who are watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, what is going on is I am doing a number of shows in the next week. I'm doing the Now Show, which is a BBC radio show. I am doing a pay-per-view show, which will end up on a show. And I'm also a guest on just a discussion radio show on the weekend. And so I need to test jokes. So in normal life, I would go into a comedy club with a notepad, and I would say all my ideas. I would listen to the ones which got big laughs, and I would tick those away, and the ones which didn't would be eliminated. Okay? Because I can't do that, I am just going to perform them to all of you. Now, what I would ask is, of course, Michael and Samantha, and what's your name, Richard? Christian, I don't know where I got Richard. I don't know where I got it. I just popped it out of my head. Christian, right? They will be live laughter. But all of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, please, if you laugh, if you enjoy the show, please put LOLs. Please put, like, indicate in some way that the joke worked. Because what I'm going to do is afterwards, I'm going to look at the jokes which get the most laughs and the most LOLs. And those will be the ones I do on the radio. Those will be the ones I do on this pay-per-view thing, and I will let you know in the next week where you can download this pay-per-view thing. It's got other, it's got comedians like Ed Byrne and all sorts, so it'll be very worth it. I am just one of many acts on that one. But let's get started. We got to talk about the Mopera thing. Okay, now why do I call this opera? Because the British press just loves adding the letter M, right, to everything that is to do with Meghan Markle, right? It's absolutely so when they first left, it was Megxit. It was Megxit time. Megxit is going on. That's what's going on. And then it's like, oh, we don't think they're gonna come back. So it's Megxile, and now they've been on Oprah, and it's called Mopra. And this, I wonder if just everything she does, this is how they make sense of it. You know, like she goes to the grocery, grocery visit, right? She makes a mistake, mistake, but mistake starts with M. So what will they do? Mistake? But basically, we're going to start off by talking about Mopra, Meghan and Harry on Oprah. Now, I've got to admit, like I'm going to talk about this on the BBC tomorrow, and I'm a little bit worried. I am a little bit worried. Why am I worried? Because as of this very moment, my British citizenship application is currently being considered, right? So I am going to be very careful in my funny jokes. Ha 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 ha. I have got to not say anything at all, right? Which can be perceived as anti-royal. I don't want to kibosh my whole thing because I thought I was a funny man. But at the same time, okay, I also don't want to get like I'm being dismissive of the treatment which Meghan has gone through and end up getting canceled by Black Twitter, right? This is it can happen, right? It can happen. It almost happened to me before with Lord Sugar. He made a joke. I said I wasn't offended. Next day, I had all my people getting angry with me. So I gotta pick a line in between. I gotta pick a line between where on the one hand I mock what's going on, and anyway, you understand the situation I'm in, but I'm trying to be neutral. Right? I'm trying to be neutral. But okay, first thing we've got to say, which is really interesting, right, is that wait, let me go through the jokes I'm testing. Okay, let's talk about the timing. The Oprah interview aired on Commonwealth Day, right? That there is some classic gangster timing right there. Okay, like I'm from Malawi. We're part of the Commonwealth, part of the British Commonwealth, minus the wealth. Okay, but I will say, right, that of all the days that this could have aired, it was the perfect day because all the Commonwealth citizens were watching. Right now, I will say that they called the British royal family. This was one of the things that one of the revelations, which I didn't even know, is that colloquially amongst themselves, the British royal family call themselves the firm, right? They call themselves the firm. Did any of you know this beforehand?
No.
You didn't know this. You didn't know this, right? They call themselves the firm, which I think is so cool. Right? I think my family needs to start doing this, right? But we don't have like the esteem or the privilege or the power of the royal family. So I think we're just going to start calling ourselves the corner shop, right? Or like the local Malawi fish market. That's the Chapondas. We're the Malawi fish market up in the house, right? Okay, that's all I've got to say about that. I'm not going to go there. It's very interesting also if you start talking about hear the stories which have been flying around online about this. One of the biggest discussions right now is that Meghan Markle was hounded by the press, right? Is this because of her race? Is it because she's mixed race? Everybody's arguing about this on social media. Is it because of her race that they treated her this way? Is this racism? Is this racism? And it's very funny to me that the people who are arguing and defending it are saying, no, it's not racism. Our press are dickheads to everybody, right? It's not saying they didn't treat her like shit. It's just saying they treat everyone like shit. Okay, we're dickheads. Okay, you can't say we're racist. We just hate people. We just hate people. And they in defense they're like, look how they treated Fergie. Look how they treated Diana. We're dickheads. Okay, and it's entirely possible that maybe your press just are bastards. Actually, I need a word I can use on the radio. Okay, I can't use dickheads, I think. I can't use wankers. They're idiots. They're terrible. They're stalky. They're stalkers, and they're what's a word you can use? Bastard. I think bastard's okay, right?
No.
No, you can't use bastard on the radio. What can you use on the radio?
Hey.
They're
Make it funnier. I mean, like a childish word, maybe.
yeah, nincompoops. No, I'm not saying that. They're idiots. They're okay. We'll think about that later. People who are watching from Facebook and YouTube, suggest words which aren't swear words that we can use to call them, right? But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm saying is their big defense is, oh, they're just idiots. And maybe this is true. Maybe all of the harassment, all of the way that she's been portrayed negatively over the last 2 years, maybe all of it is just because the press are hawkish and hateful, and they just love to tear someone down, and it sells paper. But I think we can all agree the mixed race thing didn't help, right? It's not like it never helped. I think there are many situations in my life where I'm not sure it was racism, right? You know what I mean? I think of times when I've been in immigration and they ask me lots of questions. It could be just because of my clothing. It could be just because of a number of things, but I don't think the race helped. I'm not saying it's because it was of my race, but I'm not saying it never helped. When I've met like a white girlfriend's parent, and her dad didn't like me, it's entirely possible it was just because I'm a guy, or maybe because I'm a comedian and it's not a stable job. So that's all possible. But the blackness never helped. Excellent. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see. That's pretty much what I'm gonna do about that. Okay, there's no, there's two more things. There's too many things, right? One thing which I think is fascinating is a lot of people are arguing about this who clearly haven't watched the interview. And I understand it's a 90-minute interview. Who's got time to watch that? Right? It's a 90-minute video. What most people are doing is they're watching a 20-second or 30-second clip on YouTube, right? Reading half an article, and that's it, ready to argue. Because you see people arguing, and you're like, none of you have actually watched what was actually happening. Okay, that's not really a joke, but it's a point which needs to be made. I just need to think of a funny way to do it. Here we go. Oh, there's one thing which is irritating all of us, although obviously, is that there is some royal who made a comment inquiring about the baby's skin color, right? And this was discussed, but they didn't tell us who, right? A lot of people are pretending they are angry at the interview for all sorts of reasons. I think the chief reason people are upset is because we want to know who. It's like you're watching Agatha Christie, and you right at the end, you're like, Poirot looks at the screen and says, "And the killer is," and then it just disappears, and you're like, "What are you doing?" I want to know who it is. Everybody's speculating. I bet Ladbrokes has started taking bets on who it was. We all just want to know who it is. Just look, and I understand it could be complicated to reveal who the person is. It could cause that person to get into a lot of trouble. It could cause all sorts of repercussions. So they just kept it anonymous. But couldn't you have given us a hint? Like wink in Morse code or something like that while you're talking about it? You drum. I watched the video looking for any clues. There are no clues, people.
I loved the bit they had to say it wasn't Prince Philip.
Oh yes, no, they did say that, but I'm not going to say that on the radio. I mean, get well soon.
That's because
like
that's what everybody would think.
Yes, this
Everybody
is very true. This is very true. But I will 100% not speculate in any way on the radio because look, the rules of comedy, and this has actually always been the rules of comedy, is you make jokes about people when they're fine and healthy, right? When they're ill, you just say good luck. See you on the other side. That's just common human decency. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Here we go. Okay. There was one other thing. The royal staff, There's also been press about the royal staff who said that Meghan was a bully. This was a story which was released before the Mopra interview. Right? They're saying that she was a bully, and also they called him. The royal staff apparently colloquially used to call him the hostage, right? Saying that he was a hostage to Meghan. And this is what they would say: I'd like to be that kind of hostage, right? I don't know what kind of hostage situation you've been in before where a stunning woman is holding you hostage. I'll be like, yeah, John McClane's gonna come through the window saying, yippee-ki-yay. I was like, leave us alone. Leave us alone. We're fine here. I don't need to be rescued. I always love how they portray him as this, like, they'd always this narrative, if you read all, especially like the Sun newspaper and the Daily Mail newspaper, of Harry as this helpless creature being manipulated by this devious woman, and he's just powerless and like, ah. Anyway, I don't know really what I'm going to say about that, but it's just my
It's like
overall
John and Yoko all over again.
Yes, exactly.
It's an
right.
ongoing trope.
It
always
is
the women's
a
fault.
Yoko Ono situation. So here we go. Now we move on to the next story, which I'm going to talk about, which is Switzerland. Okay, and I may actually talk about this much earlier, but Switzerland, you may not be aware of this, but this news about Switzerland. Now, this has been very interesting to me because of how I always viewed Switzerland. When I was a little kid, I didn't understand Switzerland like being a real place. Right? I didn't understand. No, because when I was a little kid, when I was 2 or 3 or 4, Switzerland was always mentioned in movies, but it was always the place that people were running away to. Right? It was where they had to reach to be safe. Sound of Music. Right? All they had to do is get to Switzerland, right? The Great Escape. You just wanted to escape to Switzerland. So to me, like, Switzerland was this amazing, magical place you need to get to. Like, actually, when I was boarding school, I was being beaten up and bullied. There was a point, this was in Kenya, there was a point where I tried to run away from school. And I was found, of course, by the teachers, and they're like, where are you going? I'm trying to get to Switzerland. I just needed to get to Switzerland. And when I say this, one of the hosts of the radio show may say, what kind of idiot were you? You know, Kenya to Switzerland? You thought you could get from Kenya to Switzerland? And I'll just be like, hey, I was good at math, not geography. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next thing here. Now, the thing which I want to talk about is that this week, Switzerland banned the wearing of face coverings, right? During a global pandemic, where one of the ways to limit the spread is to cover your face. Okay? Now, this was, what's this? The result of a referendum under Switzerland's model of direct democracy. So every year, the country holds several referendums which allow citizens to approve or reject various ideas. I hope this never comes across to the UK. The UK could barely handle one referendum without tearing each other's throats out. Like, please do not do more than one a year. Like, I don't know what would happen. Okay. Now, as I said, they banned face coverings, but they added as an addendum that face coverings worn for medical reasons, right, amid the coronavirus pandemic are not included in the ban, right? But isn't this going to be really difficult and really confusing to enforce? Like, somebody's trying to walk into a store and they're like, oh, sorry, you can't wear that face covering. That face covering is too much, right? You're wearing a burqa, take it off, right? Then you take off the burqa, you want to go, no, you can't come into the store because now your face isn't covered, okay? And you're like, wait, what? And he's like, oh, no, you must wear this mask because this face covering is just right. Who are you, Goldilocks burqa? I don't know how I'll phrase that, but Goldilocks burqa is definitely the punchline.
Take me a while.
I'll say that with a lot less words, but that's entirely the idea, right? Now, this legislation was championed by the right-wing Swiss People's Party, which is SVP. Okay, they're the SVP. Now, any person who has studied basic French know that SVP is the short for s'il vous plaît, which means please, which could be very confusing in Switzerland, right? Because you could be trying to be polite and everybody was going to think you're a right-wing wanker. Crap, I need another word, not wanker. We need another word, not wanker. A right-wing dolt. A right-wing dumbass. No, I can't say dumbass. Right-wing. You know, when you're talking about racist, you got to be allowed to use a few words. But anyway, a right-wing dolt, right? It would be like if in the UK, the EDL, the English Defence League, instead relabeled themselves the Liberty for Brits Only League. And they abbreviated themselves LOL. Then every time you're on WhatsApp and you just say some LOL, they'll just be like, are you a member? No. There you go. Hello to you people who are there. Hello. Hello, Richard McNeuron. I'm saying hello to the people who are watching from Facebook and you. Oh, that's a great joke, Paul Mohanty. I'm actually just realized Paul has suggested how I should end the whole show. So at the end of all the jokes I do, I'll say, if any angry royals are trying to get in touch with me, I'm going to Switzerland. That's a good idea. Good idea. Okay, and then we keep going. Then we've got this is all very vague, and but I have got here. Okay, although this proposal about the face coverings, right? The SVP have said no, we are not being Islamophobic. It's nothing to do with Islam specifically. It's all face coverings we have a problem with. I'm like, okay, who else is covering their faces in your country that you have a problem with? Right? Do you have a problem with people with balaclavas? No, they're fine, right? But it's really weird to me, right? Because I'm like, just be honest about it, right? Because they're like, oh, balaclava, totally fine. There's a guy over there in a ski mask and he's holding a saw. Totally fine. But a woman with a burqa, we have a problem, but it has nothing to do with Islam. Now, the reason why I say this is really weird is because in Switzerland, there are only 450,000 Muslims, right? It's 5% of the population. And most of them don't wear face coverings. They did a study, the University of Lucerne did a study of Switzerland, and a total in the whole country of 37 women wear the niqab, right? They have made legislation that applies to 37 women, right? And this would be like the UK government legislating a rule that only applies to women who have dated Daliso Chaponda. Like, this is a great idea. British government, let's have a chat. Deport them all.
To Switzerland.
Deport them to Switzerland. Cover those ugly faces. No. But now asked why all the fuss. So a press person approached the SVP and asked, why is it such a fuss about something that only 37 people in the whole country do? The SVP spokesman said they're addressing it before it spreads. Wearing a veil is not like being bitten by a zombie. It's not the coronavirus. You can't be standing next to someone, they touch you and they've got a veil and suddenly you've got a veil on, right? Though, to be honest, that would be a great Doctor Who villain. Exfoliate. And at this point, one of the hosts will say, exfoliate, what has that got to do with burqas? And look, I had a great idea of the Doctor Who veil monster, and I tried for half an hour to try all sorts of a defenestrate, ameliorate. Nothing worked. Exfoliate is what we've got, okay?
I like exfoliate.
Say that again?
I like it.
Yes, and like
It doesn't make sense.
The hosts may even say, look, someone is going to notice. We have pedantic fans who write in. How many? About 37. Okay, here we go. We keep going. Let's see what the people watching elsewhere. Richard Migrer says, how many potential immigrants from all the Islamic countries? Yes, actually. So the truth is, for the point of my joke, I'm making it about these 37 people, but it probably is more to for tourists and to dissuade people from moving in who have this lifestyle who they don't like. But of course, for the jokes, I'm just going to make it about that. Right? But you are right. It's more that they're concerned with tourists and immigrants. Okay, next up. Overall, right, the SVP hoped that the initiative would halt what they called creeping Islamicization, right? I'm going to have to practice saying that. Creeping Islamicization. Creeping Islamicization. That's a tongue twister. Creeping Muslimification. I'm going to just change it, right? Creeping Muslim. No, they said either way. Creeping. I don't know why. Creeping. What kind of insane imagination do they have? Do they think that they're imams tiptoeing behind you and converting you if you're not paying attention? Who's creeping? Now, I'll tell you what's another thing, which I kind of want to bring up, even though I don't have the parallel yet. But it's very interesting when you look at the discourse, because Muslim face coverings are actually not mandatory in 95% of Muslim countries, right? And there are 3 backwards places, including Afghanistan under the Taliban, a few other places, which force women to wear the burqa, right? But it's like 5%. But they bring it up all the time as though it's all the places in the world, even though it's a tiny percentage. Now, I don't know what example I'm going to use, but I'm going to find an example of something which it would be like bringing that up. Sorry. I should have finished writing all the jokes, but I literally had a conversation with another comedian who's a Muslim comedian just before doing this, and he said, you should add that. And I was like, okay, I'll add that. And yes.
A cave in Afghanistan.
Say that again?
A cave in Afghanistan.
Cave in Afghanistan, yes.
Maybe.
Yes. Let me just put that cave in Afghanistan. Okay, here we go. Now, this is not actually the first time that these SV people have pushed through legislation that affects Muslims. In 2009, they banned the construction of minarets, towers which are attached to mosques. Buildings, right? Their problem was buildings. And even then, they tried to say this is not an Islamophobic kind of racist thing. We just don't like that shape of building because it obscures our view. And they're like, what about the skyscrapers? They're fine. But it's that pointy little top that really offends us, right? Just be honest about your hate, right?
It wasn't triangular enough.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what they want.
Like a Toblerone.
The other thing which is really offensive is...
Together.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I was just saying like a Toblerone.
Oh, like a Toblerone. Because the Swiss are Toblerones.
Yes. That's all we know about Switzerland.
Let me write Toblerone down. Now, this is, I don't know exactly how I'm going to talk about this, but at the end of what I have to say about this, I'm going to bring up the fact that there's been many times in history where a group of people has been oppressed, right, but not directly. So there were centuries where Jewish people were not allowed to construct synagogues or cupola roofs, right? In Europe, in 2014, Sudan banned building of churches, right? There's a lot of these things where it's kind of like they make up a rule which really affects one group of people, and they say, oh, we're not being racist. Like, if I said, look, my shows from now on, people who eat bland food and have no rhythm are not allowed to attend, okay? Of course I'm not being racist. I just have a problem with people who like bland food and don't have any rhythm. Okay, here we go. There we go. This friend of mine says I should also explain something about how these 37 women have a choice and have not asked for help. I don't know how to make that funny, but he wanted me to put that in.
I think there's something around the idea of all these millions of people or thousands, hundreds of thousands have to go to vote and something that affects just 37 women.
It's absurd, isn't it?
Anyway.
Entirely right. It's could you imagine being in a country where everybody's voting on something that affects you and you're like, I've got my opinion, but there are millions of you. Here we go. Aha! Now they argue. Now a lot of the people in the SW argue that full face coverings symbolize the repression of women and say that the measure is needed to uphold a basic principle that faces should be shown in a free society like Switzerland. And we will
Oh,
show
well.
them how free they are by telling them that they can't wear that piece of clothing. And then here, now I actually grew up in a country where certain clothing was banned when I was growing up. In 1973, Camus, the president, put out a statute banning the wearing of pants for women, the wearing of mini skirts for women, and the wearing of see-through clothing. Yes, no mini skirts, no see-through clothing. A hen party from the UK would have been burnt as witches.
You need
And it was all women, but there was one ban. There was one ban for men. Men were not allowed to have long hair, and I approve of that. And then there will be a voiceover which comes on and says, "This is a visual gag based on the fact that the speaker is bald." Then I will say, "Balding!" Then the VO will say, "No, quite bald."
You might need to clarify what pants are.
Oh, okay, I'll just say trousers.
After an incident when I was in Liverpool and
I was told
to take
pants
off
can
my
also be underwear. Yes, so I'll use trousers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point, good point.
Now this is the dumbest joke I've ever written, but I enjoy it. Okay, so you got to brace for this because this is it might only work on the page, but I think this is wonderful. Okay, now this is in response to all of this. This symbolic policy is directed against female and male Muslims, said the chairman of the Swiss Federation of Islamic Umbrella Organizations in a statement. Clearly, this man is just worried that Islamic umbrellas are next to go. And what is an Islamic umbrella anyway? I think it's an umbrella that you need to point east and open and close 5 times a day. Don't worry, you can laugh. Nabil Abdul Rashid says that's okay.
Okay.
I checked. He was like that. We don't care. That's fine.
Just don't put it over your face.
Yes. And then something which I'm going to try and sneak in. I don't know how I'm going to say this. And, I've been talking about all the clothing that has been banned in different countries, right? But some clothing was banned in the UK historically. In the UK, actually, there was a point where the royal family banned wearing purple. Commoners could not wear purple because that was only something that royals were allowed to do. Now, it's a good thing we live in a time that color no longer matters to the royal family.
I
think that was in. Okay. Then another thing which we need to talk about is cartoons. Okay, there has been quite a lot of discussion over the fact that certain cartoons are being changed in their remakes. Okay, so for example, Lola Bunny, all right, in the old version of Space Jam was somewhat curvy. Had large breasts, and she's had some breast surgery, and they've been minimized in the new drawings. Okay. Also, there's constant discussion of this, which people got upset a few years ago when they started doing a new She-Ra cartoon, and the She-Ra cartoon no longer looked like a porn star. She's now just like a little little girl with, again, breast reduction. The breast reduction people are going crazy in cartoon land, right? Then also this week, Pepe Le Pew was under a lot of criticism because, let's be honest, dude's pretty rapey, right? Dude's pretty rapey. You gotta admit, right? This dude, entire approach on trying to charm this lady is like it's a pretty rapey. I found it very funny I love Pepe Le Pew, but you can't deny that his tactics are pretty rapey, right? You can't deny it, right? And I think this is the thing is a lot of people get angry when stuff which they loved in their childhood is changing or being remoted. Like, but you gotta admit it's a little bit rapey. You just like it, right? You gotta admit that she looked a bit like a porn star, and we liked it, right? And maybe, and this is the thing is, we're living in the golden age of finding pervy things, right? If you miss it so much, don't worry, you can find the big tits, okay? And if you feel that, because you're not actually going to be watching Lola Bunny or Shira, right? It's little kids watching it. But some people are like, well, I want my children to watch what I watch. Look, if you want your children to see the porn star breasts, just pause the camera, pause the movie in the middle of the Bugs Bunny cartoon thing, and say, hey, you see her breasts? This is what tits are meant to be look like. And show them some image. I don't know exactly how I'm going to say that. But I'm just saying that I don't understand why they're so frustrated by these breasts being removed when literally your phone is full of all the breasts you could possibly want to look at. We need them on the cartoons too. And I like breasts, but they're in here. I don't need them in Shira. Okay, here we go. Also, oh no, that's that. I think that's the only thing. I think that's the only thing. So it's the only three stories which I'm going to discuss is the cartoons changing, and that's just in a chat. The only ones that are actually going to be jokes are going to be the Meghan. Oh, so the Meghan Markle thing. I'm literally only going to have time to do two jokes about it. I think that what I think the best ones is I'm going to probably do just from the sound I've heard. See if your votes are right. Is I'm going to do this callback where I say that it's a good thing that color isn't something the royal family cares about anymore, right?
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
I
you
might
do that.
agree with that. I'm probably gonna do the thing where look, it's just that your press are such dicks. They're such. I'll find a word. They're such assholes, right? That's the defense. Like they're not being racist. They're just idiots. Okay, they're just bastards. We need a word though. We need a word. Let's see if there were any words suggested in the chat. Hello, JD. Hello, GT's World. Exfoliate. No one's giving me words. What have we got?
I gave you words. I gave you words.
Cretins. Someone said cretins. Douchebag.
Oh, well,
Idiots.
Douchebag.
Douchebag.
yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
douchebags. I think douchebag sounds
Same.
funny.
That's really
Same
American if you want to do it.
Yeah, it's very American, but I think people
It's all right.
know, and also the audience will know why I'm using douchebags.
Okay.
Anytime you watch comedians on television or hear them on the radio and they say that douchebag, you're like, okay, they wanted to say dickhead. In fact, the one which I can't believe a comedian got away with is I remember doing a show with someone, and the whole show he was saying frickin', and I opened the frickin' door, and I hate those frickin' people, and I was like, how are they letting him get away with this? We all know what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
go.
don't
Oh.
think there is I don't think they'll mind most words.
No, the BBC cares because they're
Do you know what it is?
if it was ITV, I would do what I wanted. If it was ITV, I
Right.
do what I wanted. But the BBC will edit out your jokes if you do
Right.
because they get the complaints, they get Ofcom on them, so they care more than the non-public channels.
Maybe Meghan will complain.
This-
She complained to about Piers Morgan.
Hey man, he was quite out of control. Like it was just one of those. Like, dude is obsessed. Anyway,
How much time will you have for the Switzerland jokes?
so the Switzerland jokes are going to be most of it, right? So this is what it's actually going to be: is that I'm probably going to come in, but you see, the thing is, all the Meghan jokes are stuff I can do in my stand-up anyway. But I'm probably going to come in, do a quick 2 jokes about Meghan, then do about 10 jokes about Switzerland, and then
Okay.
at the end, because I'm giving away a lot, but like their show is mostly going to be about the Meghan thing, so they don't need me to talk about it much, right? But they're all white, so I'm going to come in and say at least one thing about it, right? Just like I don't think they're going to
The
talk
black
about the
side of the
racial
family.
aspect without getting rather awkward. So they'll address Pierce Morgan and all of that stuff. Hey man, I hope they don't mind me telling all the secrets of the trade. But if you want to talk about the racial aspect, you'll get in less trouble if you have a black comedian there. Just saying.
Is there
Excellent.
something about the race that's the problem? Is not that she's black; it's that she's American.
Yes,
There's
I mean I
something there,
considered saying
possibly.
that, but the thing is that they are Americans who have not been piled on as much as her. Um,
Oh yeah.
like Chelsea, my friend, thinks that it's well, she's American, and I'm like, yeah, but I mean, it's you know, it's probably it probably didn't help, right? Like the racing probably didn't help, but it's not probably the thing which put her right in the crosshairs. But
Is
yes,
it
they would have
racist
piled
that I
in on
just can't?
anyone. But it's more
Yeah.
I mean, like, jokes aside, if I was actually going to say my actual opinion, they would have piled in on anyone. It's just the kind of language they use, which, when piling in on her, reveals a lot, right? Because it's like, yes, they rip apart Fergie, they'll rip apart, but when you are ripping apart someone who's mixed race, you do it in a slightly different way, right? And that's where it comes out. Like if you actually just read the articles, you're just like, whoa, a lot of but it's very hard to make a joke about it because it's subtle. But you can always see the kind of ripping apart is different if you're black, right? And
Yeah, which
again,
we did when
they
they
would have
compared
ripped you apart
Catherine.
everywhere. It's like someone might make fun of me for say, "Oh, you fat bastard," but you know, what I mean, if it's a black thing, they're like, oh, there's a little. Anyway, all I'd say is I grabbed a bunch of newspapers, and if you just read how it's reported, there's a lot of the language which is just like, whoa, what the hell? Yeah.
Yeah.
But the baby and the skin color was straightforward.
Yes, the baby and the skin color was straightforward, but it's a mystery, right? We don't know who it is, so maybe I can do a joke about that, but I'm pretty sure they will have hit that.
I can't help thinking they might have been saying something like, do you think he'll be a ginger like Harry? And then they start saying, oh, maybe she'll take after Meghan. They'll take after Meghan and be darker. That's just how I imagine it going down, that they would interpret it in different ways.
I think you think the best of people. I can tell you with certainty, with almost entire certainty, that is not how it went down. Okay,
I'm not saying that's how it continued that way. I'm just saying that's how I imagine it happened.
If anything, it was probably saying that, oh, do you think they have the right shades on for future banknotes? This doesn't fit our aesthetic. This is what we want banknotes to look like. Who wants brown banknotes? So excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to the people who joined the Zoom. To all of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much. And you will hear a far edited, improved version of some of these ideas on the Now Show and also on a pay-per-view thing, which I will be advertising very soon on all of my platforms. Thank you so much. Oh, Mike has a question. Yes.
I had an idea on the Switzerland jokes.
Yes.
With the 7 women. In a way, I imagined it could turn out funny if they all were together at some place.
Yeah,
oh yes, if they're all at one place at the same time, and it's got a minaret.
Maybe related.
That's how I'm imagining it. I imagine they're in like there's about the size of a school class. That's what I'm imagining.
And also, can you imagine being friends with one of these 37 women and they're complaining like, you're just being paranoid. And then they're just like... all together at the same time. That's a good idea. Thank you. Same time. Fantastic. Lovely. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you soon, randomly. Also, just letting you all know that post May, June live. So I was initially going to be doing most of my tour digitally, but now that it seems like things are opening up, we've moved all the shows, and starting June, July, I'm going to be doing them live. So you can go to africancomedian.com. You can buy tickets, and again, they're fully guaranteed. If COVID throws a span in the works, you'll get refunds. But I'm hoping that I'm going to have live audiences around June, July, and so on. So see you all then.
Thank you, Daliso.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Bye.